Hey, what's up guys, it's AndreOth here, bringing you guys another video. And in this video I'm going to be telling you guys everything you need to know before you come up with your producer tag. Let's get into it. Alright, before we begin, I feel like this video is really for all of the new producers out there who've just started producing. They want to get a producer tag, but they don't really know what producer tag they should get and what should be their producer tag. So in this video I'm going to be covering some different points that I feel like you need to keep in mind before you choose your producer tag. So yeah, guys, I think the first and the most important thing when it comes to deciding what should be your producer tag is audibility and clarity. And what I mean by this is whoever you have, saying your tag, whether you're saying the tag, whoever's saying your tag needs to make sure that they're pronunciating your name and saying your name clearly. So whoever's listening to that beat and whoever's listening to that tag needs to know exactly what your producer name is. And I have a good example of this. If you think of somebody like Jalil Beats, back when he was making hits, a lot of people would hear his tag. So he had that tag where he had that little kid saying his producer name, but a lot of people actually thought that kid was saying Jungle Beats. So a lot of people would be searching on Twitter and searching on the internet, who is Jungle Beats, and searching on YouTube, who is Jungle Beats, when that kid was actually saying Jalil Beats. And that's a huge issue with a lot of producers. A lot of producers have a tag where it's not necessarily clear what the person in the tag is saying. And this is extremely important because the whole point of your producer tag is to allow people to know who actually made that beat. And if people don't know who made that beat and they can't really understand what the person in the tag is saying, then you can miss out on a lot of money and a lot of opportunities from people trying to reach out to you and trying to find you on social media, but they're not able to do so because they think your producer tag is one thing when it's really something else. So I think this is extremely important when it comes to figuring out what should be your producer tag. Whoever you have saying your producer tag, make sure they pronunciate your producer name clearly, and make sure that you, or maybe you get a friend to listen to the tag and see if they can understand what the person is saying. That's the most important thing in my opinion when it comes to deciding what should be your producer tag. Another thing that I think is important is your placement in terms of your tag. So I feel like your producer tag should play within the first 10 to 15, maybe the first 30 seconds of your beat. I know a lot of producers who kind of wait to the end to play the producer tag, or they wait till like halfway, throughout the beat to play the producer tag. But I don't recommend that you should do this, because sometimes it is nice to kind of play your producer tag at the end, because I get it, you don't really want to get in the way of the beat and you don't want to draw attention to yourself. But if you're gonna have your tag, you're gonna want to play it at the beginning of the beat, because most people only spend around 10, 15 and maybe 30 seconds listening to a beat before they click off and listen to a different song or a different beat. So you want to have your producer tag playing as early as possible, so that way people know exactly who made that beat and they don't have to listen to half of the beat or the whole of the beat to finally realize who actually made that beat. Okay guys, so the next piece of advice, the next thing that I think you should pay attention to when it comes to deciding your producer tag is how unique your tag is. I feel like this is really important. I feel like a lot of producers kind of have the standard tag where they get a girl with like a really sexy voice to say their producer name, and they get like a little 5-year-old or 10-year-old kid to say their tag. But that's something that a lot of people do. And if you want to stand out amongst all the rest of the producers out there, you want to make sure that your producer tag is unique in some sort of way. So if you look at some of the biggest producers right now, you look at Pierre Bourne, Metro Boomin, Tay Keith, Turbo, Wheezy, these guys all have unique sounding producer tags, especially someone like Pierre Bourne. If you look at someone like Pierre Bourne's tag, like I've never heard a tag that sounds like that.
Yo Pierre, you wanna come out here?
Especially the last part of the tag when he has that kind of scream. I'm pretty sure that's Jamie Foxx doing that. But if you don't know what I'm talking about this part. Yeah, it's just different, it's unique, it stands out, and anytime you hear that tag, you know who produced that beat. So don't try and be like everybody else and just have a tag where you have a girl with a really sexy voice saying it, or a kid saying it. Try and be unique. And the next point that I'm going to make kind of piggybacks off of the last point that I just made. And the next point I'm going to make is make sure your producer tag is memeable. And I know that sounds really weird, like why would you care about making sure that your tag is memeable? But let me tell you, in this day and age, this internet day and age, I feel like memes are like a really big part of youth culture and social media culture. And having a meme that's viral can really help to get your name out there, especially if you're a producer trying to kind of separate yourself from the rest of the producers out there. If you look at someone like Metro Boomin, like one of his most notable tags is Future saying, if you're Metro, don't trust you, I'ma shoot you. And that tag was memed, and that was a really big meme at one point in time. And I know you guys saw those memes where they had like, you know, different images, and they had the caption, if young Metro don't trust you, I'ma shoot you, and stuff like that. That meme went really viral, and that really helped to spread Metro Boomin's name. Obviously Metro Boomin is popular because his productions is amazing, but the memeability of his producer tag also helped to spread his name, and also helped for him to be more of a household name in terms of producers. And it's the same thing with Tay Keith. I know a lot of people have seen that Tay Keith meme where they have like a picture and they label something as Tay Keith and they label something else as these niggas, and it's normally something beating something up. Or, you know, I've seen the meme where they have like the barber as Tay Keith and the person's hairline's these niggas, and you know the barber's supposed to be messing up the person's hairline. Like, we've all seen those Tay Keith F these niggas up memes, and that's something that's helped to spread Tay Keith's name and make him another household name in terms of producers. So try and keep that in mind when you're deciding your producer tag. Think to yourself, can this actually be a meme? Like, can this actually be funny? Can people kind of poke fun at it and kind of make like a really funny meme out of it? If you think they can, then stick with that, because that can really help to get your name out there as a new producer. And guys, I almost forgot to say, but your producer tag is also very important when it comes to your brand. Because if you look at someone like Pierre Bourne, his brand is literally his producer tag. So if you go on his Instagram page, you'll see his logo, and his logo is literally a speech bubble with a Yo Pierre in it. And that's obviously a nod to his producer tag. So his producer tag has actually become his brand. And if you look at someone like Ronnie J, you know, his producer name is actually Ronnie J. If you go on his Instagram is OMG Ronnie, because he knows that's what people recognize him by. People recognize him by his tag. You know, so if you go up to someone on the street and ask them who Ronnie J is, they might know who he is, or they might not know who he is. But if they don't know who he is, you can go up to that same person and be like, okay, do you know the producer tag that goes like,
oh my god, Ronnie?
Then they'll probably know who that person is. So your producer tag is really important, because you can build your whole brand around it. You see guys like Ronnie J making their Instagram names based around their tags. Guys like Pierre Bourne, you know, his logo is based around his tag. So don't sleep on your producer tag. Your producer tag can play a huge factor in terms of how you brand yourself, you know, your logos and stuff like that. The next point I'm going to make is make sure that producer tag isn't copywritten. So make sure you're not stealing it from a movie or a TV show. I know Pierre Bourne got his tag from I'm not sure what show it is, but I'm pretty sure it was a show that had Jamie Foxx in it. It might have been the Jamie Foxx show, but I don't recommend you do that if you're a new producer, because then you might have to deal with the legal implications of taking something from a TV show where you don't necessarily have the rights to it. The next piece of advice I'm going to give you guys kind of piggybacks off of the last point I just made. So make sure your producer tag is professional. You know, so try and keep the swearing and stuff like that to a minimal, because you don't want to give anybody a reason to not use your producer tag. A lot of artists, you know, especially artists in the industry, will not hesitate to remove your tag from a beat. You know what I mean? So don't give them another reason to remove your tag. So try and make sure your tag is nice and professional and doesn't have swearing and stuff like that. Especially if you get a hit, you know, and that song's playing on the radio, you know, your producer tag having a swear word in it, it's going to be another obstacle for, you know, that label to try and overcome in order to get that song on the radio. So try and make sure that your tag is just kind of just in the background, doesn't have swearing or anything like that, and it's, you know, professional. The last piece of advice I'm going to give you guys, and the last thing that I think you guys should keep in mind when deciding what should be your producer tag, is maybe coming up with 2 different producer tags. And what I mean by this is the producer tag that, you know, you have playing over a trap beat might not sound right, and it might sound out of place on an R&B beat or on a pop kind of beat. You know, so maybe if you have like a really hard sounding producer tag that you play on trap beats, and maybe if you have an R&B, maybe you have like a softer sounding producer tag that you can play. That's also something you can pay in mind, but there's also a lot of benefits of just having one producer tag that people recognize instead of having 2. So that last point, you know, you can take that advice or not. It really depends on you. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. That's all the advice that I have to give you guys. That's all the things that I think you guys should be paying attention to when it comes to deciding what should be your producer tag. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I hope you guys can take something from this video, and I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like the video though, please hit the like button down below and subscribe for more, because I have way more videos like this coming out every single week. And if you guys want to purchase any beats from me, you guys can go to andreother.beatstars.com. And if you guys want, you can follow me on Twitter and you can follow me on Instagram for all latest updates. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.